What's up, basketball fans? Today's story is as disturbing as it is shocking. WNBA star Caitlin Clark has found herself at the center of a chilling ordeal involving an alleged stalker. A Texas man, obsessed with the Indiana Fever star, sent concerning messages, drove states away to get closer to her, and even warned her, "Don't call the law." Let's break down the unsettling details, what the court documents reveal, and how Caitlin is dealing with this terrifying situation. The ordeal began in December 2024, when Caitlin Clark started receiving troubling messages on social media. Michael Thomas Lewis, a 55-year-old man from Denton, Texas, reportedly used X, formerly Twitter, to send sexually violent and threatening posts directed at Clark. Since December, the X account RacerX2031 with the name Michael Lewis has been tagging Fever All-Star Caitlin Clark in posts. These messages quickly escalated, making it clear that this was more than just an overzealous fan. The content of the messages was so alarming that they raised immediate red flags. According to reports, Lewis's posts became increasingly obsessive and inappropriate, blurring the line between admiration and harassment. For Clark, who is no stranger to public attention as one of the WNBA's biggest stars, this kind of behavior crossed into dangerous territory. One of the most concerning aspects of this case is how persistent Lewis was in his attempts to contact Clark. He didn't just send messages online, he actively tried to insert himself into her personal life. For a public figure like Clark, whose schedule and location are often public knowledge, the situation quickly spiraled into a serious safety concern. The situation escalated when Lewis reportedly drove from Texas to Indiana, where Clark plays for the Indiana Fever. According to court documents, Lewis claimed he had been driving around her house 3 times a day. This level of stalking is not only invasive but terrifying, as it demonstrates a willingness to cross physical boundaries in pursuit of Clark. The messages Lewis sent while in Indianapolis further amplified the danger. One chilling message read, "Been driving around your house 3x a day, but don't call the law just yet." This comment wasn't just inappropriate, it was a blatant attempt to intimidate Clark while mocking her ability to protect herself. What makes this even more alarming is the calculated nature of Lewis's actions. He didn't just randomly show up in Indiana, he planned and executed a journey across multiple states to be closer to Clark. For an athlete who spends much of her time in public spaces like arenas and events, this level of stalking poses an unprecedented risk. When the disturbing messages and obsessive behavior directed at Caitlin Clark came to light, law enforcement acted quickly to ensure her safety. The Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) got involved after being alerted to the threatening nature of Michael Thomas Lewis's messages. Their investigation revealed a clear pattern of harassment, escalating from concerning social media posts to physical actions that put Clark in immediate danger. Lewis's messages on X, formerly Twitter, were not just inappropriate, they were threatening. Messages like, "Been driving around your house 3x a day," and "Don't call the law just yet," demonstrated a brazen disregard for boundaries and a troubling intent to intimidate. These comments weren't just idle words, they indicated premeditated actions, as Lewis had driven from Denton, Texas to Indianapolis, Indiana, to be closer to Clark. Using digital forensic tools, the FBI was able to trace the threatening messages directly to Lewis. From there, they tracked his movements, eventually locating him at a hotel in Indianapolis. This swift action highlights the importance of taking stalking cases seriously, especially when the victim is a high-profile individual like Clark, whose schedule and locations are often publicized. When questioned, Lewis attempted to downplay his behavior, claiming his actions were part of an imagination fantasy type thing, and that his messages were just a joke. However, his actions told a different story. Driving across multiple states and openly admitting to circling Clark's home were clear indications of an escalating obsession. Law enforcement wasn't buying his excuses, and Lewis was promptly arrested on felony stalking charges. The arrest demonstrates the importance of proactive policing in cases like this. By intervening before Lewis could escalate his behavior further, authorities not only protected Clark, but also sent a strong message that stalking and harassment will not be tolerated. For public figures like Clark, who face unique vulnerabilities due to their visibility, this swift response is a crucial step in ensuring their safety. While the legal system has taken steps to address Michael Thomas Lewis's actions, the emotional and psychological toll on Caitlin Clark cannot be overstated. For someone like Clark, who is celebrated for her poise and resilience on the court, this experience has introduced an entirely new set of challenges. Knowing that someone was actively watching her, sending threatening messages, and even circling her home would be deeply unsettling for anyone. For Clark, who thrives on focus and routine, this kind of disruption could have significant impacts on her mental well-being. The fear of being watched or followed is not something that dissipates overnight, even after the stalker is apprehended. Clark's public persona as a star athlete often makes her appear invincible, but this situation reminds us that she is, at her core, a human being. The pressure of living in the public eye is already immense, and incidents like this add an entirely new layer of stress and vulnerability. Athletes like Clark often have to balance the expectations of their fans, the media, and their teams, all while trying to maintain some semblance of personal privacy. The psychological toll isn't limited to Clark herself. Her family, teammates, and close friends are also affected by this ordeal. Knowing that someone was actively threatening someone they care about undoubtedly weighs heavily on those closest to her. Fortunately, Clark appears to have a strong support system in place. The Indiana Fever organization has reportedly stepped up to ensure her safety and well-being, providing her with the resources she needs to move forward. However, the scars from this experience may linger, and it's crucial for Clark to have access to long-term mental health support as she navigates this challenging time. Caitlin Clark's terrifying experience highlights a growing concern in the digital age, the vulnerability of public figures to online harassment and stalking. Social media, while a powerful tool for connecting athletes with their fans, also creates opportunities for harmful behavior to go unchecked. Clark's case is far from an isolated incident. Public figures, particularly women, are disproportionately targeted by stalkers and harassers who use the anonymity of the internet to intimidate and threaten. The accessibility provided by platforms like X can make it easy for individuals to cross boundaries and escalate their behavior into real-world actions, as was the case with Lewis. This incident underscores the urgent need for stronger safeguards on social media platforms. While many platforms have policies against harassment and threatening behavior, enforcement often falls short. Clark's situation raises questions about what more can be done to protect high-profile individuals from similar threats. There's also a broader conversation to be had about public safety and privacy. For athletes like Clark, whose schedules and locations are often publicized for games, appearances, and events, maintaining personal privacy is an uphill battle. Balancing the demands of a public career with the need for security requires careful planning and resources that not every player has access to. Law enforcement's quick response in this case is commendable, but it also highlights the need for proactive measures to prevent situations like this from escalating in the first place. Better monitoring of online threats, stricter penalties for harassment, and more robust security measures for public figures could go a long way in addressing this issue. And these are messages at Caitlin Clark. I mean, yikes, folks, it's crazy. Finally, this case is a wake-up call for fans and followers about the importance of respecting personal boundaries. Admiration for public figures is natural, but crossing into obsessive or harmful behavior is never acceptable. Caitlin Clark's experience serves as a reminder that everyone, regardless of their fame or status, deserves safety, privacy, and peace of mind. Caitlin Clark's ordeal with an alleged stalker has shone a light on the dangers that public figures face in the digital age. From the chilling details of Michael Thomas Lewis's behavior to the broader implications for online safety, this case underscores the urgent need for stronger protections for athletes and other high-profile individuals. What are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark's situation? Should social media platforms and law enforcement be doing more to prevent stalking and harassment? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of the biggest stories in sports.